This place we had, they were sacked, but now they are back here.
Harvests of victory for security agents in Zamfara, Imo and FCT as terrorists succumb to superior
Even
power.
America, who you can say is the most affluent country, they don't have direct problems.
You did well for not signing the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. IPAC thumbs up President Buhari. Plus, OPEC gets new Secretary General. This is NTA Network News. We're live in Abuja. I'm Ian Ray John. Reading with me tonight is Michael Olaliye in Lagos. Welcome. Dr. Doyin Salami, chairman of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, has been appointed Chief Economic Advisor to the President. A doctorate degree graduate in economics of Queen Mary College, University of London, Doyin Salami, aged 59, until his appointment, heads Kainos Edge Consulting Limited and a member of the adjunct faculty at the Lagos Business School, Pan Atlantic University, where he recently attained the rank of Senior Fellow and Associate Professor. A statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, indicates that the Chief Economic Advisor to the President is expected to address all issues on the domestic economy and present views on them to the President. He's also to closely monitor national and international developments, trends, and formulate appropriate policy responses. Additionally, Dr. Doyin Salami will develop and recommend to the President national economic policies to foster macroeconomic stability, promote growth, create jobs, and eradicate poverty, among others. Coronavirus remains a significant feature in the Nigerian developmental space as policy makers upscale efforts to keep the economy afloat and rein in wild indices. Leah Katunga Babatunde has a rundown of how the economy performed in the year 2021.
Well, the year started on a slow note over deep uncertainties occasioned by the effects of coronavirus pandemic that affected all spheres of life. At the start of the year, the fiscal side, of course, gave a budget of 13.08 billion naira and was accompanied by the Finance Act of 2020. But then, of course, the supplementary budget came in the course of the year and it was pegged at 982.7 billion naira. And at the end of the first quarter of 2021, Nigeria's GDP grew by 0.51%. A very impressive 5.01% in the second quarter and, of course, 4.03% in the third quarter of the year. And these, of course, prompted a review of growth projections.
By October 2021, the federal government disclosed it had raised 73% of its targeted revenue, while value-added tax declined by 11 billion naira at the end of the third quarter. Targeted spending focused on security, infrastructure, social investment, and job creation to attain self-sufficiency first before exports. The government paid off significant liabilities of defunct agencies as recoveries of looted funds continues with reforms in the nation's public finance management system.
So we've also put in place a monthly revenue monitoring committee, a presidential committee that looks at all the revenues reported by the revenue generating agencies, reconciles it to the bank, the actual amounts that is shown in the bank accounts. That has helped us also to strengthen the remittances.
As spending increased, so also debt, peaking at 38.005 trillion naira at the end of the third quarter of 2021, with Nigeria entering the non-interest secured market for the third time since 2017, which was oversubscribed by 346%. The central bank, on the other hand, maintained monetary policy position as it kept supporting fiscal authorities, Prominent disclosures at the meetings in the year include the tightening of New Zealand bureau de change activities to curb exchange rate volatility, the introduction of Africa's first digital currency, the e-Naira, and the takeoff of Infracore, the multi-purpose infrastructure vehicle.
The shareholders are holding very aggressive meetings, and they are currently reviewing about 3 major projects.
This December inflation rate stands at 15.4%, while the Naira exchanges for 411.95 to the dollar in the importers and exporters window, with foreign reserves declining to $40.5 billion as of December 23, 2021. Excess crude account as at last FAC meeting was valued at $35.365 billion. December 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari unveiled the new National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 to replace the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan (ERGP). It will require a 348.1 trillion investment to achieve the set targets and will be largely driven by the private sector. And as the year wound down, the National Assembly passed the 2020 budget, which was signed by the President Friday, 31st December 2021. I'm Leah Kating, Babachinde.
Many thanks, Leah. Meanwhile, most international oil companies, before the passage of the Petroleum Industry Act, held back their investments. When the delay hitherto seemed unending, some moved their investments to other parts of Africa. Following the passage of the PRA, the narrative is changing for the better. Lydia Sampson in this report tells us why the PIA is the game changer.
The fact that the then Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, was before the National Assembly for several years created a lot of confusion in the industry because key players lamented lack of clear rule of engagement. This, no doubt, is why key players say the 9th Assembly and President Muhammadu Buhari didn't just make history, but wrote their names in gold with the signing of the bill into law. The most fundamental advantage, as it says, is that it has stopped the uncertainty in the industry.
What we want to achieve, the philosophy behind this, is to attract investors to Nigeria, to produce as much of this crude in the ground as possible.
It really means a lot to us to have this PIN in place. It means that it's really a journey that has been capped with success in the sense that we have been operating a very archaic fiscal environment. That's why you are not seeing massive investment in our country. And the PIA will ensure that we have now come in tune with the realities of today, which is that oil is found in very many countries, very many jurisdictions, and that except you put value on the table for investors, they won't come here. I think this is what the PIA promises to our country.
Another important provision stakeholders said is the Environmental Remediation Fund and the Environmental Remediation Plan, which clearly states that as companies are getting license for oil prospecting, they will submit to either the Commission or Authority Environmental Remediation Plan, meaning companies will set funds aside on a yearly basis into the fund. Should there be a spill, the fund will be used in the cleanup. A critical provision in the Act is the development of gas. The Petroleum Act of 1959 did not make any provision relating to gas, but the current PIA has a provision with about 50 sections of the PIA dedicated to gas. Experts are of the view that these will contribute to fast-tracking the declaration of the decade of gas.
It's going to make a huge difference for businesses. Businesses will have gas to run on, and it's going to employ a lot of people. Already this project is employing a lot of people.
This is a more transparent time than any other time.
This is because gas is expected to remain a longer time than oil, and over time, Nigeria will transit more into a gas nation. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And a special meeting of the Conference of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, held via video conference through acclamation, appoints Mr. Atham Al-Ghais of Kuwait as Secretary General of the organization with effect from 1st August 2022 for a period of 3 years. Mr. Al-Ghais, a veteran of the Kuwait Petroleum Corporation, KPC, and Kuwait's OPEC governor from 2017 to June 2021, currently serves as Deputy Managing Director for International Marketing at Kuwait Petroleum Corporation, KPC. He chaired the Joint Technical Committee of the Declaration of Cooperation in 2017 and subsequently served as a member of the Joint Technical Committee until June 2021. The conference expressed its appreciation to Muhammad Sanusi Barakindo for his leadership during his two-term tenure as Secretary General from 1st August 2016 and would end on 31st July 2022. Muhammad Sanusi Barakindo, a long-serving veteran of the Nigerian oil industry and OPEC, has been instrumental in expanding OPEC's historical efforts to support sustainable oil market stability. Looking at other issues now, Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano multi-million naira gas project is expected to supply the commodity for operation of a 215 megawatts power plant in Kaduna. Suleiman Rigachukwu brings us details.
In 2009, the dual thermal plant designed to use low-power fuel oil (LPFO) and natural gas took off at Kudandang Industrial Area, Kaduna, with initial plan to complete the project in 2013 to add to the power supply to 12 textile factories that folded up due to lack of energy source at Kakuri Industrial Area. 8 turbine units have already been installed, but 9 years after the expiration of the initial 2013 deadline and having gapped billions of naira, the project is set to take off. After years of abandonment, hope for completion is now rekindled. Minister of Power with Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai says provision is made in 2022 budget and review of contract agreement.
Work has stalled and we are trying to revive it. We have started interfacing with the NMPC to see how we can tee off to this place. Since this is a gas plant, but as the engineer was taking us around, he showed you some tanks which are supposed to be diesel tank. So in the meantime, as soon as we complete, they will go on the diesel supply before the connection of the gas.
Electrical works at the 215 megawatts power plant are at various stages of completion. Upon completion, the power plant will accelerate revival of moribund textiles, hitherto the major employer of labor in Kaduna State. Suleiman Rigachukwu, NTA News.
In other news, President Ukaro Sissoco Embalo of Guinea-Bissau says he cannot thank President Muhammadu Buhari enough for always standing by him and his country. President Sissoco stated this when he received medical doctors from Nigeria on a technical aid mission. Anthony Forsen reports.
Doctors on arrival were led to the presidential palace by Nigeria's ambassador to that country, John Usaga, who now presented them to President Sissoco Embalo.
I have the honor and singular privilege to present to Your Excellency the first batch of the medical doctors deployed to Guinea-Bissau in fulfillment of the technical aid agreement signed between Nigeria and the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. We are happy that today we are deploying medical doctors as against the deployment of troops. Nigeria is very happy with the peace that has been achieved in this place. It is our hope that this peace will be lasting for us.
President Sissoco Embalo had always referred to President Muhammadu Buhari as a father whom he always consults for advice and counsel. And for his request to be granted by President Muhammadu Buhari, he told the medical doctors to feel at home.
I am very happy to receive you here today. Well, this is my policy in the health sector, which resulted from my relationship with my father, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari. When I informed him about my goal, he said to me, "My son, Guinea-Bissau and Nigeria are two brother countries, and that is the reason why you are here today. For me, the most important is to say to this team that you are at home. You are not foreigners in Guinea-Bissau. Feel free at home because you are here to support your Guinean brothers and to help give them better health to our population. You will soon start to work with our medical doctors, and I hope you build good friendship. I have already told our medical doctors that you have not come here to replace them, but yes, to assist them. That is why I said you have my total support.
The doctors will be under the supervision of the Ministry of Health for further directives. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Time for a short break. Please stay. Thank you for staying. President Buhari's decline to assent to the 2021 Electoral Act Amendment Bill was for public interest. Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami reaffirmed this on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria. Mia Ogidiru gives us a refreshing perspective to a familiar story on the special report.
Currently, there is no second. We must not tie the parties to only one way of doing primaries. Those against any? The nays have it.
The Electoral Act Amendment Bill, a ranking bill, one may say, in the National Assembly. Even in the 8th Assembly, the bill saw the promised land, but could not make it. So when reintroduced in the 9th Assembly, expectations were high.
That we would be happy if the Electoral Act Amendment is passed by the end of March 2021.
The wish was for May, but passed on November 2021.
A bill for an act to repeal the Electoral Act and enact the Electoral Act 2021, the bill is passed. Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate.
Many thought that will be the final sound of the gavel on this bill, but probably there are going to be a repeat of that sound.
And thank you for protecting me against all right.
A rowdy session characterized Clause 53 on the transmission of election results, but that was finally settled. An aspect many least expected, the mode of party primaries, caught the attention of Mr. President when the bill was taken to him for presidential assent.
The conduct of direct primaries across the 8,809 wards across the length and breadth of the country will lead to a significant spike in the cost of conducting primary elections. This is not healthy for the sustenance of multi-party democracy in Nigeria.
Another journey back to the National Assembly, and the Chief Law Officer of the Federation is not keeping sealed lips on Mr. President's position.
When you talk of a law and its application in Nigeria, it is an application of the law on 200 million Nigerians. So it is with that consideration that you have to consider the electoral bill. If my figures are right, for example, APC, All Progressive Congress, which is the major political party and indeed the ruling political party in Nigeria, claim to have membership of around 14 million members. And that by extension means other political parties may not be as much in terms of membership. So perhaps maybe by general assessment, you may conclude that maybe we may have 40 million members of political parties. And by implication, about 160 million Nigerians are not necessarily members of a political party. So if a law is presented for consideration of the president, is it fair for the president to consider the law, both in terms of application and enforcement, from the perspective of the limited 40 million members of a political party, as against the 160 million Nigerians that are not? So what is the implication of that? You have to consider the available resources. If the limited 40 million Nigerians are looking for a resources of around 350 million, with 50 billion naira to conduct the party primaries relating to their political engagement. The other competing 160 millions are looking at the 350 billion for the purpose of infrastructure. So the implication is, in the art of governance, what I have come to learn of the mind and attitude of President Muhammadu Buhari is to consider the 200 million as against the limited 40 million members of the political, and that was what informed the decision of the president.
It is an unfolding legislative executive exercise, and 2022 may come with a finality. Mie Ogide, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, has expressed support for President Muhammadu Buhari withholding assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, saying that Nigeria is not yet ready for direct primary model. This was at a media briefing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
It is a New Year media briefing of the 18 standing registered political parties under the banner of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, applauding President Buhari's decision to withhold assent to the transmitted Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021. IPAC advised the National Assembly to immediately expunge the contentious direct primary clause of electing party candidates for election and transmit the amended version to the President for his assent. Chairman of the Council, Yabagi Yusuf Sani, explained that the National Assembly should not allow the issue of direct primaries to affect other important provisions in the bill, especially the electronic transmission of results, which it said would strengthen the electoral process.
The issue of democracy is the most important. It's more important than any other thing you can talk about. So we don't want to get it, we want to get it right. And all of us, we're all Nigerians. We know the state of our development. Even America, who you can say is the most affluent, country, and perhaps the most developed democracy, they don't have direct primaries, for obvious reasons. What they have still is delegate system.
IPAC further suggested that the legislature and the executive should consider carrying the body along in all the processes of remodeling of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, saying that the bill directly affects members of the political parties who are expected to implement the law when eventually enacted. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released a timetable and schedule of activities for the conduct of the June 18, 2022 Ekiti State Governorship election. The timetable from the INEC headquarters says Tuesday, 4th January 2022, indicates that notice of election has already been pasted at the INEC State Office at Ado-Ekiti on the 3rd of January, while party primaries starts from the 4th and ends on the 29th of January. Last day of withdrawal and replacement of candidates is 25th of February, while campaigns begin on the 20th of March and will be rounded off on the 16th of June. The 14-item timetable will be concluded with the conduct of the election on the 18th of June 2022. INEC advises all the 18 political parties to follow the schedule judiciously. And away from electoral matters now, the FCT Security Joint Task Force has reclaimed Mate, a village which was recently sacked by bandits in Kwali Area Council. This followed the launch of Operation G7 involving the other 6 states of the North Central bordering the nation's capital. Onotu Yakubu brings us details of the operation.
In their midst were vigilantes, hunters, and lion-hearted members of the sacked village.
We have to see the way.
Mate village is about 15 kilometers off course northwest of Yangoji in Kwali along the Abuja-Lokoja Expressway. To assess Mate, the team traveled hours in between shrubs, forest haze, crossed rivers and streams, and then completed the journey on foot. So nothing was left to chance in the deployment to ensure victory.
Here was initially sacked. This place we had, they were sacked. But now they are back here. We have already told Bate people to come back. We have informed their village head Hakimi. We have informed the Hakimi that they should return back. Some of them are even here. Some of those people from Bateda are here.
By the time the team arrived, the bandits had run away, but their marauding of the village was evident in every hut, while the village head's house was said to have been made their operational base. With the mission accomplished, the operatives directed the village head to return his subjects to his land with a promise of a security post to provide the needed safety. Onoto Yakubu, NTA News.
And still on security, tactical operatives of the Zamfara State Police Command, in collaboration with the military, have rescued 21 children recently kidnapped by bandits along the South Funtua Federal Highway. The rescued victims comprise 19 Islamia school boys and 2 girls. Salamatu Umar has more.
The victims, who include Almajiris and their teacher going to Katsina State for pursuit of education from Rini village of Bakura local government area of the state, were kidnapped at Kucheri village along Gusau Funtua Road. Addressing newsmen, the police public relations officer SP Shehu Muhammad said the rescue of the victims followed a response by the police tactical team in conjunction with the military to a distress call where they engaged the hoodlums to a serious gun battle. According to the police spokesman, the state commissioner of police has since reinforced the police operatives to complement the effort of a joint security force to ensure safe rescue of the remaining victims still in captivity, including a teacher and a driver of a Hammer bus that was conveying the passengers, as well as apprehend the perpetrators. Meanwhile, the State Police Command says it is determined to ensure the safety and security of the citizenry at all times. From Gusau, Salamatu Umar, NTA News.
And in Imo State, the police command has successfully repelled an attack and attempt at setting ablaze the palace of the Eze of Imo, Eze Emmanuel Okeke, by men suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. A statement by the police public relations officer, Imo State Command, Michael Abata, indicates that the attack, which occurred on Monday, January 3, 2022, at Ezioha, Amifeke in Orlu local government area of Imo State, was successfully repelled by the command's tactical team in synergy with the vigilante group in the area. The statement indicated that hoodlums in their numbers besieged the palace of the traditional ruler armed with assorted weapons, but were subdued by the tactical team, while one of the hoodlums was neutralized and others escaped with bullet injuries. Items recovered from the bandits include charms, 1 locally made improvised explosive device, and 1 pump-action gun with 4 live cartridges, among others. And still in Imo State, the governor, Hope Uzodimma, says he remains committed to achieving total transformation of the state, irrespective of any form of distraction. He said this while presenting his scorecard at the 6th Imo Stakeholders Luncheon in Owerri. Beatrice Anyam has details.
The meeting is designed to give the people of Imo State opportunity to interface on issues of governance. Governor Hope Uzodimma, while presenting his scorecard, says the government has recorded remarkable progress in the past 2 years. He reiterates his resolve to continue to improve all sectors of the economy, to increase the internally generated revenue of the state, provide more infrastructure, promote education, culture and tourism.
One thing you can be assured of is that under my watch as your governor, not a pin belonging to Imo State will ever be unaccounted for. Another thing you can be sure of is that our dear Imo State will become great again. Our infrastructure will improve beyond your imagination. Our health and education facilities will become the pride of all. Above all, everyone will be part of the government, and everyone will know what the government is doing.
Chairman on the occasion, Leo Stan Eke, and others applaud the governor for creating the platform aimed at strengthening democracy, promising to join forces with the government in making Imo State great.
Let's move forward and start auditing ourselves like the governor has been doing, coming here to tell you people how the state is doing.
Let's really stand up and take what belongs to us.
In attendance are former governors, legislators, and other critical stakeholders. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
And from Imo, we head to Lagos, where Michael is standing by with more news. Michael, it's your turn.
Thank you, Yari. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has waded into the lingering land dispute in Magodo Phase 2 estate, inviting all parties involved for a meeting, while also directing total stand-down of security operatives in the area. Musa Tolia has details.
Crisis led to the intervention of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who visited the estate to douse the tension and calm frayed nerves. But there was a mild drama when he met the leader of the armed policemen deployed to the estate.
The operation is all about executing the Supreme Court judgment that has to do with Magodo.
Okay, so do you have a copy of the Supreme Court?
Oh, I don't have it at hand here.
But so whatever also that you are talking, which you are not even competent to know, which you don't even know anything about, is not the resident. It's a case between the supposed people and the Lagos State government.
Thank you,
So
sir.
it has nothing to do with the residents of the state.
Governor Sanwo-Olu, however, promised to get to the root of the matter with a view to finding amicable solution to the crisis.
I have the responsibility to ensure that fairness, equity, is entrenched. So what we will see is there's going to be a total stand down. Tomorrow we'll be inviting, the representative of the judgment creditors. The state government will be there. The resident association will be there. The police also will be there, so that whatever it is that must have been, brought about all of this, trouble and all of the heartaches, we will need to bring it to bear.
Residents, however, decry indiscriminate arrest of protesters by policemen.
When they got to my house, they still got property. He was lying down inside doing some work because the place is still under construction and under renovation, and they took him away.
If you have a case against Lagos State, then you don't take it out on the lawful residents of an estate.
More than 50 policemen are said to have invaded the estate. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Just few days into the year, the rail subsector is making progress in attaining some of its set targets as additional round trips have been activated along the Lagos-Ibadan rail corridor. The development is riding on the increase in passengers on the axis, with high hope that the momentum will be sustained beyond the free train ride. The activation of free train ride has paved way for increasing round trips on the Lagos-Ibadan standard gaugeway line. For now, it is between 6 to 8 daily, depending on the volume of passengers. As the last day of such window of grace, coupled with the resumption of work after the long holiday, traffic at the Mobolaji Johnson train station was huge. While the free train ride lasted, mobility between Lagos and Ibadan has not only been simplified, but equally reduced tension on the ever-busy Lagos-Ibadan expressway, especially during the festive season.
The risk on the road, motorists will be in a hurry, and of course they will also hike the prices because there are no alternatives. But now you can just imagine the volume of people that the train will be able, and of course at land they are making about 4 trips today.
Now you know that you're not going to stay on the road for hours. If your movement is for 2 or 2.5 hours, you know it's going to be 2.5 hours.
The journey from Ibadan to Lagos has never been so comfortable for Esther Makinde. The free train ride was the initial bait for her and the family, but the timeliness and safety experience left a lasting impression.
There's no stress and they are time conscious. At Omiadio, they said they would spend only 2 minutes. Those that did not enter the train on time, the train left. They are just looking at us as we are going.
And for safety, no accidents, no all this tanker will do this. No, so I think I prefer this one.
There is high optimism that the huge volume of passengers garnered during the free train ride will be sustained because, according to travelers, the gains of using the rail mode of transportation outweigh any other means along the Lagos-Ibadan corridor. This is NTA Network News. More reports shortly after this break. Please stay.
Glad to have you back. And next is business with Benny. Benny, I hear that oil and stock markets are doing great. What a way to start the year.
Thank you, Nyere. Yes, the markets are actually in green. It's a good start for the year. Welcome to business. We'll start by telling you that the oil market is bullish today as oil prices rose on Tuesday, with expectations that OPEC meeting on output would stick with planned increase for February. Based on indications, Omicron would have only a mild impact on demand. Brent crude was up 48 cents at $79.46 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude rose by 42 cents to $76.50 a barrel. And just as expected, the 24th OPEC and non-OPEC ministerial meeting has reconfirmed the production adjustment plan and the monthly production adjustment mechanism approved at the 19th OPEC and non-OPEC ministerial meeting, and the decision to adjust upwards the monthly overall production by 0.4 million barrels per day for the month of February 2022, with the schedule allocating Nigeria 1,701 barrels in the month of February.
The 2022 growth forecast remains unchanged at 4.2%. We are told that a new study by the Center for Economics and Business Research in the UK estimates that global economic output will surpass $100 trillion in 2022, 2 years earlier than expected.
And on the capital markets, the Nigerian Exchange All Share Index opens the year 2022 on a positive note, records 0.77% gain to close at 43,026.23 basis points, and the market capitalization stands at 23.1 trillion naira. 216.6 million shares worth 1.5 billion naira were traded in 4,080 deals. Market breadth closed positive as Academy led 17 gainers as against 25 losers, topped by NNFM at the end of today's session. Chams, Wema Bank and Zenith Bank were the most active to boost market turnover. That is business news. Nyere, is over to you.
Many thanks, Benny, for that update. And it's surprising to know that days after the Yuletide holidays, commercial activities remain at low level in the Federal Capital Territory. Oneka Oku visited some business premises within the metropolis and now reports.
This is the popular Area 1 shopping complex in the Federal Capital Territory. In the days preceding year 2022, the market witnessed increased volume of business activities, including heavy human and vehicular traffic. Now, with the Christmas and New Year celebrations over, the rush and heightened anxiety seem to have disappeared.
Before Christmas, we can get more than 7 customers mass. But now, small. Sometimes we don't get any customer.
Business will pick up as from 15th when people travel come back.
In other commercial centers visited, only a few shop owners and customers were seen engaged in activities.
As you can see, we land up here. Business never resumed. In fact, it seems as if there is public holiday safe.
So market never do. We still sit down.
Meanwhile, due to the mass movement of people from the Federal Capital Territory, prices of goods and services are gradually stabilizing compared to the periods just before the festivities. In Abuja, Neka Oku, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a recent figure released by the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria indicates that the country's food import bill has dropped by about 90% as of December 2021. Official documents indicated that the drop was attributed to the impact of the Anchor Borrowers Program. Musa Aliyu has details.
As at 2015, Nigeria was losing more than $3.40 billion while importing agricultural produce and products. 80% of those imports are food that can be produced locally. We must produce what we eat and eat what we produce. It's a statement synonymous with the present administration.
the agricultural sector.
While walking the talk, the government introduced Anchor Borrowers program with a view to supporting smallholder farmers to boost their agricultural output.
Our administration has leveraged innovation and mechanism in the agricultural sector by supporting the production of numerous commodities in which the country has comparative advantage, thereby guaranteeing the availability of these commodities to the masses.
Investigation revealed that in 2021, the program has successfully put an end to importation of rice and maize, with local production increased by 80%. At the moment, Nigeria is rated the largest producer of maize and rice in Africa. Figures from the Central Bank of Nigeria indicate that food bill as at November last year was put at $0.54 billion against the $3.40 billion 6 years back.
Under this program, over 788 billion naira has been disbursed to 4.1 million farmers, cultivating 4.8 million hectares of farmland through 23 participating financial institutions.
Closing demand and supply of wheat, sugar and milk and dairy products remain a major challenge.
Currently now, Nigeria is demanding more than 5.2 million metric tons of wheat to be processed by our millers. And our country is spending over 1.3 trillion naira importing this material. We can't remain on this forever.
However, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is currently implementing a national livestock development program aimed at boosting the local production of milk.
Is developed to provide an integrated approach to agricultural development in terms of access and application of improved inputs, linkages between agricultural research and training institutions, input provision for farmers, agricultural mechanization, extension services, provision of rural infrastructure, access to affordable funding.
Agricultural economists are of the view that most of the agricultural interventions of the Buhari administration in the last 6 years have created jobs for millions of Nigerians. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Time for another break. Please stay with us. Let's have a bit of sports now with Gift George as our guide.
Ahead of the African Cup of Nations in Cameroon, 23 players of the Super Eagles had the training session at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium on Tuesday evening. The team is expected to depart for Cameroon on Wednesday.
Responding well, and not only just the training alone, in terms of communication. So they're ready to go.
Very big dream, and I cannot wait to get started.
Football followers converged on Ondo State Sports Complex, Akure, for the annual Sunday Abe and Friends football event. The teams were made up of players from European club sides, Nigerian clubs, and various national teams. In the first game, Akure City Football Academy beat Florence Joshua Football Academy by 2-0, while Team Sunday Abe and Friends also lost to Ikale selected side by 2-0.
Every this tournament, we always produce players to sunshine to Premiership.
We commend him for this competition.
The FOSA 2021-2022 Ata Igalas on the 13th football tournament, which was at the instance of the former Nigerian Football Federation President Sani Lulu, has been concluded. Lukman Mohammed reports that the competition, which involved local government areas in Kogi East and Lokoja local government areas, became necessary to tap into the talent of the youth in the community.
The future is better for them through these procedures.
Preparations have been concluded to mark the 50th anniversary celebrations of the passing on of Nigeria's greatest football legend, the late Teslim Tonda Balogun. The organizers revealed at a media parley in Lagos that various events will be held in June 2022 to celebrate the legacies and achievements of the late football icon.
He has assisted so many Nigerians. So present generation of Nigerians should come up with a plan, assist younger generations.
In volleyball, the draws for the 2022 Oloru Volleyball Regional Unity Cup held online shows that in the men category, Kwara United, Oloru Superstars, Nile University, and Spartans are in Group A, while Ofa, New Wave, Sunshine Spikers, and the Nigerian Police Force are drawn in Group B. In the female category, Plateau Rocks, Golden Spikers, Olalomi Royal, and Niger Raven have been placed in Group A, while Kada Emeralds, Legacy, Trailblazer, and Oloru Super Angels will play in Group B.
16 teams coming up as against the 7 we had the previous time.
The volleyball championship is expected to parade the best male and female players in the country. With sports updates, Gift George, NTA News.
The burial of late Norma Grace Ikocha Ozodi, née Mbalisike, also known as Eke White, has been announced by the family. A statement by Uzoma Simon Ozodi on behalf of the family indicates that there will be a service of songs in her honor on the 5th of January 2022. On the 6th, the body leaves Royal Saints Mortuary and Embalmment Center, Ebenato, by 7 o'clock in the morning, while at 8 a.m., body lies in state at her husband's compound. Funeral service will be conducted by Holiness Living Church, Isieke Awutu, at her husband's compound. On Sunday, 9th January 2022, will be Thanksgiving service at Holiness Living Church, Isieke Awutu. Norma Grace Ikocha Ozodi died at the age of 85. Now time to take a quick peep at the weather prospect for Wednesday.
View on Wednesday's weather focus. We expect the day to start with mist and fog patches over the coastal state, which would lift at sunrise. Moderate dust haze from inland cities of the south up to the northern region. Increase in cloudiness over the stretch of the coast with slim prospects of thunderstorms activities over Bayelsa and rivers. Moderate dust haze will remain the same throughout the forecast period, though we begin to see some few appearance of high cloud over the northern state, while medium cloud over the north central down to the inland cities of the south. I remain Suleiman Green. Thank you for watching and bye for now.
And that concludes NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. And please remember, the fight against rape and rapists is still on. Let's put an end to it in this new year. I'm Yen Ray John. Good night.